Hey guys, how's it going and welcome back to your football predictions. The international break is over, which means we are back with the Premier League this weekend. As always, we'll take a quick look at my predictions from the last Premier League weekend. So, yeah, as always, unfortunately, I got no correct scores. I've had a few bad weeks recently. I went that Brighton would beat Cardiff. Cardiff actually won 2-1. Newcastle Bournemouth went for a 1-1 and Newcastle won, so I wasn't too upset to get that one wrong. Chelsea Everton, I went for a Chelsea win. It was actually 0-0, so good draw for Everton, I would say there. Man City Man U. Now, I did say that Man City would win, but I went 2-1 and it was actually 3-1. So as always, you guys did far better than I did. 3 people in particular got 2 correct scores from the weekend's football, and they were Kian, Harry, and Splash. So I've put all of their YouTube links down in the description. I have subscribed to all 3 of them, and if you want to be shouted out just like these guys were, then make sure to get your predictions down in the comments for these games coming up at the weekend. But as always, I've picked 4 of them and we'll go through them now. So to kick things off on the Saturday at 3 o'clock, I've gone for Fulham versus Southampton. So 2 teams sitting very low in the league right now. Fulham actually sitting bottom, Southampton sitting 17th, and there's 3 points between the 2 of them. So it's a pretty big game for both clubs. Fulham at the minute, they have lost all 5 of their last 5 games, so they're on very poor form. Fair enough, they lost against Arsenal, Bournemouth, Liverpool, but they also lost against Cardiff and Huddersfield across the last 5 games, and want to try and pick up some points against some of the teams down there with you. However, they've got a new manager. They have just brought in Claudio Ranieri. He said there's not going to be a fairy tale like there was at Leicester, just hard work to get back up the league. So that could be a big factor in this game. Having the new manager definitely boosts players' confidence, ready for the next game. As for Southampton, their last 5 games, again, slightly better form than Fulham, but in the last 5 they haven't won a game. They've drawn 3 and they've lost 2. Obviously, last Premier League weekend we had Southampton draw against Watford when Charlie Austin did his rant about the offside goal that shouldn't have been offside. It's going to be a tough game. You know what? If Fulham didn't have a new manager, I would have just said Southampton, because Fulham's form has been so poor at the minute. But they are at home. They've got Ranieri in, and that could be the big boost they need to just get some points on the board, which they're so desperate for. Southampton, you know, they're playing some decent football. They should have won last weekend 2-1, or however you want to see that with the offside goal. 1-1. I don't know if that's a bit of a coward's way out, because I should probably pick a winner, but it's going to be tight. I'll stick with 1-1. Moving on the Saturday to the 5:30 game, we've got Spurs taking on Chelsea. So Spurs currently sitting in 4th place, Chelsea sitting in 3rd place. Just 1 point between the 2 clubs. Another very big game between these 2 teams. You know that it's very tight down the bottom. It's tight up in the Champions League spots as well. Spurs in their last 5 games have won 4 and they've lost 1, which is against Man City. They most recently beat Crystal Palace 1-0 in their last Premier League game. So some very good form from them. Losing against, in the last 5, 1 loss, and it was against Man City, you know. They're a good side. And then Chelsea, in their last 5, they've won 3 and drawn 2. They drew, like I mentioned, their last game against Everton. As for a prediction on this one, this is really tough to call. I could go draw. I would love to see loads of goals in this game, because that's what you want to see. You want to see goals. But I've got a feeling it could just... It's going to be tight. I think it's going to be just the 1 goal between it, and I've wrote down here 1-0. Now, if you went for anything different to that, I wouldn't blame you, because it's a tough one, but I'll stick with that. Who knows? Moving on to the Sunday 1:30, we've got another very good game. We've got Bournemouth taking on Arsenal. Now, obviously, Bournemouth are having a cracking season right now, currently sitting in 6th place. We've got Arsenal in 5th place with 4 points between the 2 teams. Bournemouth's last 5, they have won 2, drawn 1, lost 2, and the 2 that they lost were their last 2 games against Man U and Newcastle. So don't get me wrong, they've had a fantastic season. Losing those last 2 games, you know, wouldn't say it'll hurt them, but after having such a great start, losing the last 2, they're going to want to pick that up now against Arsenal. Arsenal's last 5 games, they won 2, and then they've actually drawn their last 3 games in a row. Bournemouth are at home, so they've got the home advantage. They are having a fantastic season right now. They did lose their last 2 games, like I mentioned, against Man U and then Newcastle, but they're going to want to keep that ball rolling, you know. They're not going to want to drop out of it. Yes, they've lost a couple of games. They're not going to want to lose another one. And then you've got Arsenal, who are also having a really good season as well. Yes, they have drawn their last 3 games in a row, which you know, they want more points on the board than that, I would say. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm a little bit biased here, because I want to see Bournemouth do well. You know, seeing a club that isn't known as being in the top 6, sitting in 6th spot right now, is great to see. So I've gone 2-2. Like I said, Bournemouth have got the home advantage. Yes, they have lost the last few games, but they've been playing very well. So I want to see some goals. 2-2. And then to finish things off, we've got the Monday night game, Burnley taking on my team, Newcastle. So again, it's another very tight game, because Burnley are sitting in 15th, Newcastle are sitting in 14th. In Burnley's last 5 games, they've drawn 2 and lost 3. To be fair to them, they lost against Man City and Chelsea, so they've had some tough fixtures, and then they drew against Leicester at the weekend. So, you know, fantastic for season for Burnley last year, getting that Europa League. I think that definitely slowed them down at the start of this season, having those extra games that they're not used to, and it got them off to a not poor, but not a great start to the Prem this season, and they're going to want to start getting some points together and getting back up that table to try and replicate kind of what they did last year. Just now that Europa League's out the way, they can concentrate on the Prem. Newcastle United, a horrible, horrible start of the Premier League. Went far too long without winning, and then it's like buses. We won the last 2, beat Watford and then Bournemouth. So the confidence in the team will definitely be higher. Going to Burnley on a Monday night. It happened last year. We lost that game 1-0. I'm hoping for a different scoreline, but again, this is going to be another very tough, tight game. I can't see a lot of goals being in this game. I can literally see this being a 1-goal winner, or maybe even a draw. I think it will be a tough journey for Newcastle over there on the Monday night. Burnley are going to, like I said, not the greatest start. Want to start getting some points in the Prem. As for a scoreline, I've gone 1-1. Want to keep that flow, because when you win your last 2 games, you want to try and get another win. Having said that, I went 1-1 in the last 2 Newcastle games, and then they ended up winning both of them. So that's partially the reason why I've gone for this scoreline as well. But that is it, guys. So as always, get your predictions down in the comments below. I will go through all of them and then shout out the winners in next week's prediction videos. I'll go through all of the predictions before the first game kicks off, which is Saturday at 3 o'clock. So you've got plenty of time to get them in, and then 5 to 3 on the Saturday. I make a note of everyone's scores. And then, yeah, I'll shout them out in the next week. So thank you all for watching. As always, drop a like on the video if you have enjoyed. If you're new around here, make sure to subscribe. I do the prediction videos every week when the Premier League is on. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you later.